What is up, Earth peeps and Moon peeps? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode we are returning to the correct century and turn A Gundam. Last time, Mudan, Cancer, and the Red Team went into action. Gavin Goody proposed to Sochi, and Diana did a little laundry while dancing with Lauren last episode. She decided to head back to the moon. Also, the ship that the team found was named the Wilg after Wilg. This time, the moon race finds nukes, and some of them accidentally go off. Also, Diana and Kihil are reunited, so let's get into this. Gwen and Lily want to run tests on the ship in a few days. Horace is going to have to work overtime to make this happen. They wonder why it is so cold. They're most likely going to receive snowfall for the first time in a while. Gavin Goody gives Sochi a wedding dress as a present. Meanwhile, Diana has disappeared. Lauren goes searching for her. She seems serious about returning to the moon. Diana was found by Corin, who gives her a ride. He is still slow since he was attacked by Lauren. They find a village on fire. Wodoms are attacking. They're stealing all the corn. Corn? Corn. She tells Corin to take her to the Soleil. Fran is taking photos of the chaos when she saves an old woman in the streets. She has a moment where she realizes journalism is dead and questions what she is doing. It begins snowing. Poe and Phil have a moment. Kihil, as Diana, is informed that the militia are planning on launching a ship in a few days. Harry thinks that Phil is overestimating the militia. Phil also mentions that they were able to rebuild the ship because Moonrace engineers defected. They will try to take out the ship. Lauren meets with Fran and Keith, who are assisting a kid that Fran found in the streets. She starts to grow a conscience and begins blaming Keith for making bread for both sides of the war. Everyone then shifts the blame to Lauren for assisting Gwen and the militia. The militia are helping extract the Wilg from the mountains. Fran goes to visit Joseph in the flat and asks if he would marry a girl like her. He's like, yeah, sure, but what a random time to be talking about this. Keith is making bread. I know this is supposed to be Verlaine's lips, but it looks like she has a pencil-thin mustache. The snowing finally stops. The gallop makes it to the militia. The Suicide Squad is also on their way. Joseph gives Fran his coat and tells her to stay safe as they prep for battle. Wodoms are on their way, or scarecrows as the militia refer to them. The former Moonrace engineers tell Gwen that once they make it into the air, the Moonrace weapons won't work as well. It's just a matter of getting into the air. Lauren was looking for Diana, but ends up vibing for the entire episode. He eventually runs into Poe and her Wodom squad. Joseph's flat and the Kapul girls come in to help turn A. The militia fires turrets while Fran tries to take photos and not die. Phil attacks Sochi's Kapul when Gavin's Suicide Squad comes in to help. Turn A takes out 2 Wodoms. Joseph and the militia also refer to the flat as the high heel. He is wielding Corin's old Minchi drill. A Wodom knocks the Minchi drill out of his hand. The Wilg finally takes off. Lauren attacks Poe. She knees him in the face. Turne needs to buy them more time. He drops his weapons and uses his beam saber and spins them, turning it into a beam shield. The Wodom's attacks deflect and hit Gavin's Borjarinon. The Moonrace retreats. Lily says that Lauren is like a panther, and one day he will tear Gwen to shreds. They look on at the Wilg as it is finally out of the mountain cycle. Corin Nander carries Diana like Norman Reedus carries Margaret Qualley after aborting her ghost baby in Death Stranding. At least I think that's what happened in that game. It doesn't matter, Corin just needs to remember to hold down L2 and R2. They run into a town. Corin hears kids playing the flute. Sochi is mad at Lauren and Diana for not being here, but she is more mad at Lauren for ignoring her needs. Miache, who has been around these two since the beginning, calls Lauren an idiot for not figuring it out. The gallop takes off with Lauren and Turne to look for Diana again. Jacob and Bruno don't know why finding Kihil is so important, not realizing it is actually Queen Diana. Diana and Corin take a moment to vibe with the kids. He teaches Diana the importance of impermanence. Harry is given intel that someone resembling Diana is with Corin Nander in a nearby town. Lauren, Bruno, and Jacob make it to the small town and look for Diana. He sees Moonrace peeps in a mobile suit helping with the festival. He realizes that the Moonrace and the Terrans are celebrating together. They have a fake Turne statue. That is when he finally finds Diana. Corin sees the fake Turne and Homeboy is triggered. He proceeds to stab the fake Gundam. That is when he sees the Jetstream mobile suit that the Moonrace peeps were using earlier and gets in. Lauren tries to stop him, but it is Harry and his sumo that comes in and saves the day. He drags the Jetstream out of there. Corin jumps out of the mobile suit where he's briefly reunited with Bruno and Jacob. Lauren gets into the real Turne Gundam, where Corin tries to fight him with a rocket launcher. He then gets into Jacob's Gozo. Harry's sumo comes in to help. He suggests to Lauren that they use the fake turn A to fake Corin out. He chops off the fake Gundam's head. Corin gets out, does a prayer, and says, "My work is done here." Corin wanders off on his own once again. He totally forgot about Diana. After helping last episode, Diana decides to head back to the Soleil. But first, we harvest. She wants to make use of the Zack Trigger. This is a ship orbiting the Earth sphere from a sector of space that has been closed off. Corin and others who secretly came here most likely used the Zack Trigger. Diana refers to this as the Forbidden Path. Meanwhile, the Moonrace has found 3 mobile armors while doing a little excavating of their own. They also seem to contain nuclear warheads. Harry takes off. He has the skirts added to his sumo for extra thrust. Lauren and the Gallop return to the dig site. They are informed that the Suicide Squad found the Diana counter digging in the mountains. Diana and Kihil are finally reunited. Kiss. Diana promotes Harry from lieutenant to captain for protecting Kihil. Kihil stays with them for now. These two now act like twins who knew each other from birth. Do you forget you have a real sister? The team is out looking for the militia. The Moonrace realizes that the nukes found are all intact and good to go. The red team engages with the Suicide Squad. Sochi starts acting as the captain of the Gallop. The Suicide Squad enters the mountain and steals the nukes, not realizing how powerful they are. The red team attacks. They destroy the core of a Borjarnon, setting off a nuclear explosion. Diana is planning on a secret mission to the moon, but she wants her people to believe she is still on Earth. Kihil needs to pretend to be the queen once again. Lauren tells Miashe to head back to the Gallop as Terne detects radiation. He tries to stop the Suicide Squad from fighting and setting off the nukes. Terne grabs Cancer's mobile suit and throws it. The red team retreats as they aren't in normal suits. Lauren tells everyone to retreat as fast as possible. While retreating, the nukes go off. The Gallop is designed to handle nuclear blasts and activates countermeasures. The correct century has never experienced nukes before, or any power on this level. Also, they put more money into the nuke animation, and you could tell. I feel it is illegal to cheap out on animating a nuke in Japan. You will remember this forever. Now animate it perfectly. Some even think that the sun is rising in the middle of the night. A bad omen. Lauren has to explain radiation to the Terrans. They refer to it as a poison. Sumos are being fitted with skirts. Poe has failed so far upward that she got herself her own sumo. The Suicide Squad looks for Gavin, and they think he is dead. The Moonrace engineers that were warning of the nukes escaped and survived. They happen to have 2 nukes with them. Just don't drop them. Whoops. They catch the nukes while chasing the Suicide Squad. Poe finds the engineer and tries to take his nukes, but he is like, nah, no one seems to listen to you, Poe, and I'm not going to be the first. Poe begins fighting her own people. The engineer finds the Gallop team while fleeing. He decides to give the nukes to Lauren. He gets into Mustache and Sochi and Miashe in the Kapul. Poe flees for fear of failure once again. Probably a good move, Poe. The engineer doesn't want anyone to die, so he leaves the nukes in Lauren's hands. He doesn't care if he gets court-martialed for this. Lauren puts the nukes in a compartment and adds a little dirt to prevent it from rolling around. Diana talks to Phil and Mirren Rex about the usage of nukes while Kihil listens in on their conversation. The Moonrace peeps have outlawed the use of nukes and made it taboo. But if the Terrans are going to resort to using them, then they must as well. Diana forbids it, but Phil wants to go over her head. She tells Rex to execute Phil if he does so. Kihil notes how strong Diana truly is. A lot of the attacks have been Rex and Phil pushing Kihil to do things Diana would never do. Phil is trying to aggressively push back against the Agrippa faction, who wants to stay on the moon. Sochi goes to speak to the Moonrace with the engineer, whose name happens to be Mr. Zenoa. But they begin fighting with the Moonrace instead. Go figure. Harry makes a move and decides to get Kihil out of there as things are heating up. Phil tries to assume control. He is trying to mutiny. Phil sees Kihil escaping, but he is on to their game. Harry gets Kihil to safety in the sumo. As of right now, Phil doesn't seem to know which person is the real Diana, so he won't kill the queen. But Harry himself isn't sure who to trust just yet, so he isn't going to stop Phil either. Sochi is saved by Joseph, and they were able to flee. Kihil thinks they should go to the Zack Trigger to figure out Agrippa's true intentions. Joseph meets up with Fran and some of the militia. They are planning on heading south across the giant body of water. Fran mentions that she got intel that there seems to be a mutiny happening within the Moonrace. But while fleeing, Sochi heard a voice. It wasn't the queen, it was her sister. And that will do it for this episode. Diana and Kihil have returned to their rightful places. I like that 1 minute we are vibing to a slice of life story. Then the next minute, boom, nuclear explosion. Don't you just hate it when your global existential dread creeps into your slice of life? Next time, Diana will break out of the Soleil. Kihil will once again pretend to be Diana, and the gang heads into space. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, even while vibing, watch out for nukes. Peace.